Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, look, we're like semi on time. Well, when I say semi on time, I mean we are on time, but we're 5 minutes early. But we like to be 10 minutes early. So anyways, Federal Reserve meeting yesterday. Kind of interesting where we're at now, isn't it? I mean, in the end, kind of feels like the whole thing was a bit of a wash. I don't know. Let's see. It looks like something happened last night. Did I miss? I think I missed something. Is that because of the Venezuela thing? Okay, let's come over here. So I'm just looking and see there was big, markets seemed to like a Federal Reserve meeting. But then in the overnight action, well, okay, so I know that there was Oracle, and Oracle didn't do very well, and that probably hurts. But and there was a Venezuela oil tanker seized by the U.S., so maybe that is a factor. But they really took a dive sometime around 8 o'clock my time. So that might be something else. I have to go back and read a little bit. But let's take a look at the overall, our volume profiles here. So here you are in ZN. So it was a hawkish cut. We expected a hawkish cut. And I was saying, don't be surprised if Powell says something and we end up lower. But it looks like Powell wasn't able to say anything. He does what he does well. Didn't really say anything. And so I think a lot of people were selling into that meeting, and the positioning means we're a little bit higher. Not too much higher, but higher than the 2 days previously. But not back above 113 even. Not that it's too far. I mean, well, we're half a handle away from that, so that's kind of been the big line in the sand. So here's the S&P 500. You can see like the great heights and then the tumbling lows. That's a pretty wild. That's a pretty big range for last night. By the way, what is the? Well, I'm gonna reset here. 4.76. Ooh, I do not like that. Okay, so we gotta be careful. I know that there's news coming here in a second, right? Because we are gonna get initial jobless claims, right? We want to pay attention to that. Oil down again. Gold seems to be holding. Silver, wow, silver pushed even higher yesterday. That's, oh my. Copper's also a little bit on the upside. Japanese yen. Okay, so Japanese yen seems to be recovering. That's good. I would like to see Japanese yen back up in here. That's fine. Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin didn't really react too strongly to the Federal Reserve meeting, but whatever it was that pushed us down overnight seems to have really depressed Bitcoin as well. But it was not like the end of the world or anything. So let's come over here. Welcome, Ray and Big Toasty. Okay, so I got a couple of things to look at here. Mexico approves wide-ranging tariffs of up to 50% on China. Did Trump put them up to that? I think that they were saying that, you know, if they had a united front against China, they could have given some. Okay, so here's coming the news. How come I'm not hearing it on my news? Oh, it disconnected as soon as I connected. What's them continuing jobless claims? Come on. Okay, so jobless claims slightly higher than expected at 230K. What's the continued claims? 1.83 as opposed to the 1.94 expected. So continued jobless claims came down a little bit, which I think makes sense. I found a job. Probably some other people found a job. Maybe everything's okay. Welcome, A. Paul. Uzi. Well, that's kind of interesting that they did the initial jump up, but then when my news squawk was, because it sounded like the initial jobless claims was maybe a little bit delayed from the other stuff. I think that the initial move that we had there was really more the like U.S. trade balance numbers. But when the jobless claims came out, we moved down a little bit. And that's despite the initial claims being slightly higher than expected. So I think that is, they're looking at the continued claims. Continued claims really, I mean, it's not like crazy, but that's still, how big of a difference is that? 10,000 people that found a job, or that came off the continued claims. Although, you know, some of those could be that it's been longer than, you know, like they can't file claims anymore. Still, I do think that the labor market has improved a little bit since the government shutdown ended. So, you know, that kind of reminds me, an interesting thing from the Federal Reserve meeting yesterday, and something that's been going on for a while, is that the committee has been more hawkish than both the market and what they ended up doing in the end. So when you look before, the number of rate cuts that the median expectation was looking for was higher than what we actually got. Which kind of comes back to this thing that I keep saying, that like I do feel like some of the decisions or some of what's going on there in the Federal Reserve is political. I really do. And they were saying, the Federal Reserve was saying, maybe we'll get another cut in 2026. But the market, both the market and the analysts, think that there will be 2 cuts in 2026. Kind of interesting, right? But they're making that based on their projections of the economy, that the Federal Reserve will be forced to make another cut. Basically, we are still slightly restrictive in monetary policy, and the economy, if the economy is not going to like just turn absolutely gangbusters, and we're worried about inflation, then that means that they're going to continue to normalize it. And what we're seeing with the jobs market is kind of like a key decider there, because if the job market bounces back really hard in first and second quarter, then I don't think you're going to get that second rate cut. But the analysts seem to think that that's not what's going to happen. But what the data point that we got here today seems to be a good one. Now, remember, this is super important. On Tuesday, we get non-farms and we're going to get retail sales at the same time. So those are two of the biggest data points for stocks in particular. So Tuesday is going to be a big data day. And they've basically got today, tomorrow, and Monday. So I think you're going to see a lot of money shuffling around today. I don't think that I can really predict which way it's going to go. I am definitely not sure, what's going on with ES here. A little uncertain what's going on with ES. That really can't all be that really can't all be Oracle, can it? Although, come here, so I just fixed things because I hadn't scraped things correctly. Sometimes when I try to get it to do the scrape, or if I leave it open and it does the scrape, it doesn't grab it. But I just refresh the chart and then it grabs it. But look, on the overnight, they came right to the line. What do you know? Very interesting. Is it really just Oracle, though? Actually, we should just pull up a chart of Oracle. It does. That kind of makes me feel on top of things because we talked about Oracle pretty extensively yesterday, didn't we? Oh, yeah, they did. Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew that they got hit hard, but I was wondering, did they go even lower? Oh, actually, 20 is after they closed. But when I was looking at the chart, they were still over here. They were still at 210-ish area. But it looks like they went lower and did lose 200. So if you come back and do a daily chart on this thing, well, you're not going to see it. You see that orange line, orange red line. That's where we're going to open. So they're going right back to like the November lows. I guess it's not that as damaging technically as you would maybe think based on the reaction, but the market did not like the Oracle earnings. Oh, they did not like them. It was, they basically, earnings was lower than they wanted, and all of the other problems that they've been seeing with debt and all of that are still there, or if not worse. So Oracle is, could that be like the canary in the coal mine? Maybe. But it says to me, like, here's the thing. Some of the biggest players in this, like OpenAI, right? They're not public companies yet, so you're not going to get anything from them. But it just, I think, kind of shows you of the companies that are here and that are like AI companies, that kind of shows you how the market is going to treat them if they don't meet expectations, right? It was crazy that because they had a big earnings beat just a few months back and now they're in the doghouse. Yes. Well, and that was this thing right here. That was this gap, right? But remember that a lot of that was bullshit. Right. I think that's why that you're getting the reaction that they did, because the last earnings, and it was earnings, you see the little E, okay? The last earnings, yeah, they made more than expected, but they also had projections, and it was their projected expectations that really was like, wow. And I think what happened was, well, when I say I think what happened, my recollection is that they've gotten some big investments from OpenAI and so forth. And that's like a big jump up in the usage of their cloud. And Oracle basically said, we project that we will continue to see growth in line with what just happened like that, which is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But they're like, oh yeah, for the next 10 years, that's just going to continue to go up. And what happened was all of the robots just like read it at face value. So the stock jumped according to what that projection was. And then ever since then, it's just been like a slow retracement of that. And now you get to this earnings and you see the profit, and right. So I think that the market probably will treat them extra harshly because they've gotten so much attention and stuff. Like there's got to be like if I was trying to short the AI bubble, I think that Oracle would probably be one of the places to be taking the short. Possibly. I don't know. I shouldn't say that because it's not like I'm short Oracle. But I'm just saying, I bet you that there probably are some funds out there that are short Oracle. Right? So, okay, after kind of sorting that all out, it does look like the Treasuries are deciding to push a little bit higher. Now, I do think a lot of this is positioning. Like a lot of people, I think, were pretty short going into the FOMC. And, you know, we had just had it down. So when I look at the upside, I don't know if I'm really looking for something radically different from, well, so we have like these areas up at 21.5. But that honestly seems far away. So if we had a really strong trend, that's about as far as they probably will go, though. Okay. So I did read through like the news squawk and everything. I didn't really see anything too big. So I do think that it probably is just Oracle and the oil tanker thing. Did you guys see Donald Trump talking about the oil tanker thing? I couldn't believe. I mean, I should have learned by now, right? But this guy just keeps giving us Trump's greatest hits. He just especially when he's talking to reporters. So the reporters are like, so what happens to the oil that on the tanker that you just seized? And Trump is like, I don't know. I guess we keep it. And then they ask him, so then where will the oil tanker be going? And he says, I don't know. Why don't you get a helicopter and follow it? So here, the United States has seized an oil tanker that Venezuela was using to try and get around import restrictions and so forth that we've placed on them. And when we seize it, so you keep in mind, this is the sort of thing that leads to wars, okay? And when the reporters are asking about where he's just giving smart comments about just follow it to the reporters. I couldn't believe it. It just he will never stop, and it's hilarious. He will never stop, and it's hilarious. Let's see. What were you saying about Oracle here, Rox? They got a leveraged balance sheet, so stock behavior is going to be crazy. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like, personally, I would like Oracle to do well because they're a big company around here. They make a lot of investments and partnerships and stuff. So, like, them doing well, probably good for Utah. But that jump that they had last earnings, I really didn't think was sustainable. So, I don't know. I honestly... And I don't know why, because there's no reason. Like, I can talk about Oracle, I can talk about Microsoft, but I feel way more uncomfortable talking about companies, and especially when I'm like trashing a company. You know, I don't want to be negative on a company per se, because people work there and all of these things. But so and I don't talk about stocks very often, so I'm just kind of trying to figure out where the line is here and the way that I can approach talking about them. I think Ellison was trying to be the richest guy in the world with that prior earnings report. But I don't even think it's that. I think that he is basically, he's been watching Elon Musk and some of the other things that some of these companies have been doing. And he's figuring out, like most of the other billionaires have figured out at this point, that you can manipulate the stock market really easily. And you know what? I don't blame him. Like the thing is, if it was me, I don't think that I would be doing it quite like Ellison. Because the thing is when you do that and then you don't get the results that the market was, jumping on, then you get punished extra hard, right? So I don't like the strategy as a long-term thing, at least in the way that Ellison did it. But if I was a CEO, right, anything that I can do or say that's going to boost the stock at the time generally is helpful to the company. I mean, it's kind of the messed up thing about it is stock prices should reflect all available information, but in reality, they don't. And prices are really just people buying and selling. So what are some of the things that you can do to affect the buying and selling? And it turns out that some of these, like what you say in the media and what happens on social media and all of that, tends to be something pretty powerful in terms of focusing people's attention on certain companies and boosting your prices. And that is how Elon Musk basically became the richest person in the world. Because I think if I had some magic formula that was able to accurately price the real true intrinsic value of every company, I think that Elon Musk would not be the richest person in the world. Musk is like the OG of stock manipulation via Twitter. It totally is. But like, here's the thing, is that when you boost the stock price like that, it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling thing. Your stock price goes up. That helps you. There's a lot of things that your stock price, especially for these high growth companies, right? A higher price makes it easier for you to attract talent. You can use the stock as, you can issue shares to your employees. You can have employee buy programs. You can give them equity in their offers. So that helps you get some of the best talent. It really makes a big difference there on the talent side. And you have more money to be able to borrow, and you get better terms on deals and all of these things. So, the like traditional thinking of this would have been, well, if you're able to manipulate the price of the stock in the short term, it's not going to change anything because the intrinsic value is still the intrinsic value, and the market will sooner or later come back to that. But once we go into an order flow view of markets, you think we see that that's not necessarily the case. In order for the price to come back down, people have to sell it. It's the flows that control things. And having a higher price has some benefits to companies. So if your company can come in, boost their price kind of temporarily, and then that kind of becomes this self-reinforcing, self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing that helps the company. And then maybe even if everything, like with Oracle, maybe all these things that they're saying are absolutely crazy, but if it boosts the stock and it helps the company, that makes the company all the more likely to be able to accomplish those crazy goals. And you know what? With Oracle in particular, I do think that there is some growth potential there because they are doing a cloud platform like AWS, like Amazon, Microsoft, and and Google. Right? I was going to go like the acronyms, and you guys probably don't know them because you're not in site reliability engineering, DevOps, whatever that world. But Oracle is like a fourth cloud, and TikTok is going to use them, and there could be some potential growth there. And you look at how much the cloud hosting has done for, well, Amazon in particular, but Microsoft has really grown big from that as well. You know, Oracle as a fourth competitor, they could make a lot more off of that. Who knows? I haven't been able to use their ecosystem, so but I might get the opportunity here soon. So look at that. It's interesting. The day job that I've been doing is gonna have some opportunities to learn some new and interesting things. These guys, they were showing me yesterday these games on the phone they had made using a framework called Flutter. So there's like Google made a programming language called Dart. It was kind of like, we don't want to use JavaScript, so we made Dart. And then Flutter is like a GUI framework on top of that. But instead of it being like, you know, rendering things in the browser and all of that, they have their own native rendering engine that is cross-platform. So, and that allows you to make really good full-featured GUIs and do like 3D rendering and all of that sort of stuff for games. Because like people use it to make iPhone, Android games, essentially. So I was looking at that. I don't know if that's something I could integrate into the GUI. Like, it does seem like it would be a better GUI than the GUIs in Rust. But we would probably still want to use Rust for like the data and all of that sort of stuff, and especially as a bridge to Python, because I don't really see how you do that outside of Rust or C++, because it's through the C bindings that Python has that makes that possible. So when you go into like interpreted languages or garbage collected languages, it becomes a different thing, right? But you might be able to use it as the main container and the GUI thing. I'm going to take a look at it. Plus, my wife is always like, why don't you make this game or make this game for the kids? Well, maybe now I will. Because what they showed me was like, oh, we vibe coded this one. This one only took me one day. Like games that were pretty good quality, I thought. You know, in terms of like the way that it looked and performed. But like I was really impressed. I was like, I should do that. This is cool. What do you think about the trading technologies, Dom, or the platform in general? Ray, you're still using TT? Yeah, I mean, if you can afford it, then trading technologies is probably the best platform, to be honest with you. Especially when it comes to some of the APIs that they have to handle orders and stuff. You want to do things like auto spreading and all that sort of stuff. Like trading technologies is the way to do it. Or you want to have, if you're like you're working for a hedge fund or something like that, a commodities trading advisor, and you're doing momentum strategies, you're buying a bunch of something and you want to use an algorithm to do it. Trading technologies has things built into it that make that sort of buying algorithm easier to use. There are some features in the Jigsaw DOM that I really, really like that the trading technologies one doesn't. So the TT DOM itself is not as customizable as the Jigsaw one is. But it's extremely performant. The data that you get from trading technologies in particular is amazing. Like when you come in and you look at you know, all of the level 2 changes, they show you more granular level 2 changes. And there's something about that makes the DOM easier to read for me for some reason. So, yeah. But the problem with TT is it's very expensive. Very expensive. It's like $150 a month or something like that. So for most retail traders, it's not practical to use TT. But if you're doing something that justifies the expense, that's absolutely the way to go. Absolutely. Can you use in TT the bid ask volume? You mean like the middle columns? I do think that they have something like that, but I can't. You know, it's been years. It's probably been 5 years since I've tried trading technologies, honestly. They do have a demo. Even though it's an expensive platform and everything, they do have a demo. Or at least last time I tried, they have a demo. Yeah, it is very expensive. If it wasn't so expensive, that's all everybody would be using. One of the things that kind of delayed me getting into futures was that, like, when I first started looking at it, NinjaTrader was like a new thing, and Jigsaw didn't really exist, and Xtrader through trading technologies was basically the only way to get that kind of level 2 data. And I thought, oh, well, it's not really practical for me to do that right now, so I didn't do it. And it wasn't until, and we're probably talking 2008-ish, right? And it wasn't until like 2017 that I went in and really tried to do the DOM. So but it was maybe a little bit more available to me than I thought. Except for that, at the time I was also working for the bank, so. I need to be more conscious about how I'm sitting in the chair, because I have been slouching. My chair at work is one of those ones with the mesh back, which I'm really not a fan of the mesh backs. But yeah, NinjaTrader 7 was great. Like NinjaTrader 7 was like the only game in town for a while. And then like a trillion platforms came along. I really think that, well, you know, it's kind of interesting when I go on Reddit in particular. Like, there's an order flow subreddit, and the platform preferences that I see on there seem to be like so different. Like, platforms like ATAS are way more common there. I would say, because I've always kind of felt like people, if they didn't want to spend on Jigsaw, then they would go to Sierra Charts. But now I kind of think that Sierra Charts is about as expensive. There's just not like an upfront cost with it. And yeah, there's like ATAS. And then there's that whole thing with those French or Italian guys. They made a new platform that everybody on Reddit hates, by the way. But the number of people that I see asking about it is really, honestly, kind of stunning to me. Kind of makes me go, you know, Seth, if you really were able to accomplish the platform that you want to make, and it really did, because there's lots of unknowns in there. There's all sorts of technical things that come up. Maybe our ability to make the thing that we're envisioning is not up to the dream of it, right? That's the big risk. But if I was really able to get the platform that I wanted, it really would be a viable business. There really is enough room and enough demand out there in the GUIs that you get everything right, you could make money from it. Could do really well. And if I was able to do it entirely by bootstrapping, that would be even better, you know? Let's see here. Later into your 40s, the back problems show. Well, I've always had back problems, though. That's the thing. I have always had. I have 2 discs that are basically kind of shaped a little bit weird, and that leads to the ribs in that location never wanting to sit into their sockets quite right. So that's always kind of irritated. Maybe, you know, when I was a kid, because I was like 19 or something when I first got x-rays and understood what's going on back there. So it's been a long time. And back then they said, well, they do have surgery for this sort of a thing where they'll fuse them or things like that. But like it's a big recovery and all those sorts of things, and then you have a little bit less mobility in there. So you only do that if it's really, really like debilitating pain, which it hasn't been for me. It's always just kind of a little bit uncomfortable, and then I roll my back and I stay active, keeping a strong back, and that seems to really, really help it, right? But lately with the chairs, so I got that one chair. It's funny because I recorded a bunch of video that I lost, unfortunately, but I could still make a video about the chair. I got the chair, and it was a Hayworth, what do they call it? Fern. Yeah, they call it the Hayworth Fern. And the back, they're really trying to make something that is like, because the thing about the mesh chairs is that they breathe. And so these guys are all trying to make a chair that breathes like that, but has better support. And so that's why they, you know, Hayworth has the Fern, and Herman Miller has this other weird gaming chair, right? And that's what that's all about. So I got the Fern, and I didn't get it with the lower back support, because the lower back support on the Fern is a little aggressive. It's a little aggressive. So I was like, yeah, well, don't need that. But I think that I did need it. But then the thing was that as soon as I got that, I also saw the chair that I'm sitting in right now on the local classified ads, and went and got that, and decided that this is more comfortable, which this is a steel case Leap. So I think what I want to do eventually is buy a new or refurbished steel case Leap 2, because that having like the really adjustable back support. Okay, we're getting a good move here, by the way. That more flexible adjustable back support is the best for me. So you know, I let my brother take the Fern because he was having troubles, and I was like, well, you can borrow this one. And I think that he just liked it because, like, he hasn't brought it back. He hasn't said anything about it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. You could keep it. But then I go to the new job, and they've got the chairs that are like the mesh again. It's the mesh, and the back is not really adjustable at all. And so I'm kind of thinking about this again, like, okay, well, so maybe I should take the Fern back and then take... I don't think I would take this chair to work because this is ugly AF. I don't think anybody would appreciate how ugly it is. But I could take the Fern. Maybe I could take the Fern to work. I don't know. We'll see. I got all these plans in my head about what I want to do with my desk that Maybe I should write it all down. Maybe I should write it all down. Where's my terminal? I don't even have a terminal open. I guess I did restart. Okay, so I want a glove 80 keyboard, which is like $400. Two extra monitors, because they would only give me two, and I have that amazing docking station that can do 4. So I really need to do the 4 and show up everybody else, right? Because nobody else is going to have the 4. Dude, that docking station, I still kind of look back on that. So like, because the devices, yeah, I have such a weird relationship with reviewing hardware on the channel, because they do well. They do really well. I think part of it is that the companies, they have their own kind of promotion and things like that. So like traffic comes in, and you know, there's kind of like this long-term bit to it too, you know, where you build up authority in certain keywords and stuff. So for KVM switches in particular, some of those have done really, really well. But when they came to me with a docking station, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. And it's not like that video did amazing either. So I definitely question, like, do they get the full, you know, for giving me, you know, is it really worth it to them to give me a device to do a review about it for a docking station? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But when they presented it to me, I was just kind of like, okay, I don't really need a docking station. I don't know if my audience would be interested in a docking station, but let's do it. But the thing that I didn't realize was how crazy of a docking station it is. Like, it's like a $600 docking station. It's like the nicest kind of docking station you can possibly get. So if I've got that and 4 monitors, ain't nobody in the office gonna have a nicer setup than that. And then you have the keyboard, because I don't know, will the Glove 80 be an amazing keyboard? I've heard some good things about it, but I think that the big thing to me is that it just looks crazy, right? Actually, what are they doing right now? Let's pull it up from their. They have a Discord server. Where's that? Oh, what did I do with it? Maybe they got rid of it. I don't seem to see it anymore. Mo ergo. There it is. Maybe I got rid of, I don't know. Anyways, let's see if they've got any. Oh, I guess they're focused on the Ghost 60. So they got this new thing called the Go 60. And I think the idea behind this one is that it's a little bit more compact and so forth. So and it comes with a case and everything. So to transport it between home and work is a little bit better. But I want the 80. I want the 80. I think that a keyboard like that is so interesting, and it just looks cool too. Right? So you got one of those, the 4 keyboards. Bring the chair. Yeah. And then I can bring my I'll probably do it next week. I'll bring my little sand drawing thing because I'm afraid that my kids are going to break that, so that's safer at work. Comfy keyboards seem nice. Well, I hear that it's a very comfortable keyboard. But I do know a guy that he got it and tried it for a little while and then sent it back, so maybe it's not perfect. Do they have, by the way, shop now? Because last time I looked, they didn't have the switches that I wanted. Above 80 revision 2 with silent switches. Oh, I guess so. With silent linear cherry blossoms. That's what I would like. Yes. There you go. So now for the monitors, I can just get those cheap. They don't even need to be high refresh rate or anything like that. So I can just find some secondhand, preferably Dell's, because that's what everybody uses. But then I need a monitor stand. Ooh, yes. And then I also want to get a pad. I want to get one of these. Have you seen these things? What is it called? Supernote. Oh, one of these. I don't know which one I would get. If I would get the 10.7 inch one or this 7.8 inch one. Kind of feel like that 7.8 inch would be big enough. But I think I can get the big one because the big one is 505, right? And spend $500. But maybe I just get the smaller one. Anyways, I don't know. You have crystal versions. You can see inside of it. But anyways, this is it's like an e-ink display. And it's got like the screen is textured. And then the pen has like a special nib, a ceramic nib that doesn't wear down very quickly. So it feels like you're writing with pen. And then it supports OneNote or OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive integration, and it has, like text recognition, so you can write it, transfers it into actual words, and you save it into your OneDrive, and you can just take all your notes with that. So that way I can go into meetings, not be sitting there typing away on my keyboard about everything, but instead be writing and or draw to keep myself engaged, because otherwise I would so fall asleep. If I'm not actively engaged in something, I cannot just sit and not be actively engaged in something. I will fall asleep almost immediately. So I think I'm going to get something like this. Is there a difference between the crystal version is actually a little bit more expensive. That's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. But. But what I can do, well, I wonder if they, yeah, probably I could get the nicer pen. There you go. Then it comes up to 500. But you know what I have not decided on, though, is what would be a really good monitor stand? That's something that I feel like I could probably do a ton of reviews about on this channel. But I don't know. I've never come across... Have you guys ever bought a monitor stand and just absolutely hated it? Thought that it was just absolute trash? I've never had a problem with that. Let's go to Amazon. I think it would have to be a stand. Well, I mean, I can mount it to it. It's just a little bit harder because there's this thing in the back that you have to unscrew. Ergo Union. I actually really like the look of that one because it probably has a long reach. I wish the stand that I have now, that the arms had a longer reach so I could bring the screens a little bit closer to them, because I'd say it's about 10 inches further away than would be optimal. You want the screen to be, you reach your arm out, fully extend your arm, you touch the screen. And it's further than that. They are still going. But we are... So I kind of felt like when we had that first one, I was like, maybe I should be getting involved here. But I felt like I missed it. And I said, well, is it going to go to 21.5? I wasn't sure. So, but now I feel like I regret. Like I really should have gotten on board that one. Because I do think that there should be a decent amount of shuffling here. But they've gotten to that for standard deviation on both the extended and the regular session. So you be careful. The next step up would be 27. Paul says, I was talking to a lady yesterday who had one of those weird sideways comfort position mice, and that seems nice as well. Yeah, I wonder if I should do that too. I have the Logitech MX. I have a Logitech MX I use. My mouse here is just it's a pink Zowie mouse. And I love the color of it. You know what I think is so funny? Like, have you ever heard of the pink tax? Right? Like, some things for women are just more expensive than other things. Like if you get shaving stuff, the shaving stuff for women is more expensive than for men. And there's this whole argument about it. Like, is it because they have marketing for women costs more or things like that, right? Okay. But I have found that if they make a general item of some sort, like a mouse, and it is pink, that it tends to be cheaper. So I am totally down. I did this with my mouse. Another thing that I have is I have like these standing bars sort of things so that you can do like dips on them. Dips and muscle ups and stuff. And that's pink too. They were cheaper because they were pink. And, you know, it's because a certain portion of, you know, basically half the population will say that's a girly color. I don't want to have that. But I have no qualms. I think that it's a cool color. Like, pink is, it's a really, I don't know if I really have like favorite colors or anything like that. But I really like like strong colors. You know, like there's just, it's really saturated. There's something about that color that just immediately sticks out in your eye, you know? I guess if I had a favorite color to wear, it's blue. I definitely look better in blue for some reason. Let's see here. Epoxy resin is cheap and plentiful. Art branded epoxy resin is suddenly special and different, so it costs more. Even though it's the same. Yeah. I hadn't been in the more ergo Discord for a long time. All the stuff is about the Glove 80. But it is expensive because of... I had to show the wife where I left the van key because I took the van yesterday. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do because they did not bring... she took the car to get it looked at because we have to look at how much it would cost to fix up the Acura and if that's more than just a new car payment, if I should just get a new car. And she took it there in the morning, and then they were supposed to call her back, and she says that they never did. So she's down a car. I don't know what she's going to do about that, but I guess my mom's going to have to help her. Anyways, what was I saying? Colors. And then the other thing I gotta do for work is clothes. I think this polo is fine, but you know, I've been wearing my business shirts partly because I do feel like, I don't know, I don't think it makes a difference. It's all these little things, maybe they do make a big difference in the end, and you just can't see it. But like, does wearing a business shirt make me seem more reputable and make it so that people are more or less likely to stick around? I don't know. But I was wearing the business shirts in part because it was like the stream. But everybody at work, it's 100% casual. It's 100% casual, so I'm like way overdressed. So I should probably buy some more casual clothes. I haven't been, I don't know, I have casual clothes for like at home, but like casual clothes for the office, I haven't had to do that for like what? Since 2019. So. I remember we were looking at monitor stands. So see, you can get a monitor stand pretty cheap like this. I mean, this would probably work for what I'm doing, but I do feel like it could be better. So this is another thing, is like, I feel, well, I would kind of like a monitor stand that is flexible enough for me to put it into different configurations. You know? There's nothing wrong with looking. Well, that's true. And I think I am still going to wear the business shirts a lot. But I should give myself some variety. Actually, what it really is, I think I just want to go Steve Jobs with it. I just want all linen shirts. Just, I don't know, the linen shirt that I wear, it's a little bit wide in the shoulders, which I think is maybe partially a style thing, you know, but the, like, you know, on this shoulder the seam is in the right spot, but on these they're a little bit further, right? I would like it to be a little sharper. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe I can find a linen shirt that fits a little bit better. But then I want to like Steve Jobs it, you know, like you buy like 10 of those and then you just wear literally the same thing every day. And then I can get some nice linen trousers and like European style loafers. Yeah. That'd be styling. That'd be styling and professional and extremely casual all at the same time. Perfect, right? No, I wonder if I can find a 4-monitor mount that is flexible so that if I want it like the 4, like 2 on top, 2 on bottom, it can do that. And if I want more like a 3 on bottom and 1 on top like this, or more of a diamond configuration, I can just change it whenever I want. But I'm gonna bet that doesn't exist. So here's one with pneumatic arms. It's a lot more expensive. But is that really worth it? You know, the issue with these ones is you can't move them up and down. But if you get the height that you want and you just keep it there, you don't need to move it up and down. With the one that I have here at my desk at home, because I have to move them around and stuff when I record and things like that. And so then having that feature is really essential. Bit of work. Maybe I just get away with one of these cheap ones. Yeah. So here's one with arms. Pneumatic arms, but those are doubles. We'll go to their store though and see if they've got a quad. Ah, see, now there's interesting. Up to 32 inches, huh? But maybe I do it that way. Maybe I have the main screen. I think that makes sense. I don't know. So there's something about using an Apple that makes me weary of having more complicated layouts. I don't know how to put it. Like a lot of the time, well, so here's my wish list. These are all things that I would maybe like to buy. Okay. If I make that full screen, it's like, that's pointless. Why am I going to do that? All of this, look at all of this wasted space, right? So we need to have a second one. So I often find myself opening up 2 tabs like that, even if I don't need it. But if it was vertical and then I can see more code, that would maybe make sense. Although I do find myself having to do this to like copy and paste code from one spot into another a lot. But you know, you can do that in the main window. Like so maybe a layout like this makes sense. Maybe a layout like this makes sense. more than the 4, like that. Wow, $400 for that. So one of the things that's crazy with monitor stands is that the range of prices is so wide, and the monitor stand that I got was not that expensive. It was not super expensive at all. So when I see monitor stands that are like, you know, $400 to $1,000, I'm kind of like, are you really getting what you pay for with those? Ergotron, Ergotron, if you need a Tron, try Ergotron. Monitor mounts, desk mounts. See, these ones are way more expensive. A lot of it is that they have arms that are like built for heavier monitors. But I don't know. I've never seen a 4 monitor setup from Ergotron. I don't know if they have that. There you go. That's what I need, is a desk mount with a motorized thing that makes it go up and down. Yeah. No, it doesn't look like they have. Filter by in stock. Multi-monitor mounts. 2 monitors. That's it. That's all I got. Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, then this is the same thing. Oh, wait. Triple. Quadruple. Oof. Oof, that's steep. $1,000, right? Like, why do you need... Well, those ones are probably hold much larger monitor for starters. But then with this one, can you give it the different configurations? Like, can you swing those ones out and then push this arm down and then do the 3 on the bottom, 1 on the top config? Are they going to go again? There was a big buy there. I should feel a little foolish if we're finally getting a really good, strong meta order. This is the first in a long time. And I kind of sat on it. But that was because I really felt like it could move, but I don't know which way. And I was a little bit skeptical that, like, if I start getting something like that, if it's really going to last. Should I be skeptical that it's going to last? No. I think that it could go the whole way. I think that cumulative delta is going to continue to rise through the session, but that, you know, you might get to a place where it's continuing to rise, but price goes sideways. Like, catching a good spot is hard. I don't know how I feel about that. One of the issues with these ones is that you can't move the monitor closer, right? It's stuck at as far back in the desk as it goes. So that's a downside to that. You have a gaming series, huh? Oh, that's interesting. What's with this arm? It's just really thick. It's just a really thick boy. It looks cool though. What about this one? This one really. Oh, it's got RGB on the arm, huh? Ah, how about that? They do have a non-RGB one. Hey, it's all not even that expensive either. For one monitor, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. I like that. Single monitor, dual monitor, triple monitor. Oh, and they kind of package up the 4-monitor one along with it. That's funny. That's cheap. What if I come in here and say 4-monitor mount gaming? Does that change the results that I get? Not really. Oh yeah, this is the Architron. I remember. I think the one that I have is from Mount It. Oops, where did it go? I think I have this. Oh yeah, see? Oh no, I thought it said it bought. Oh yeah, there you go. Purchased October 2019. Was it really October 2019 that I did it, huh? I'll tell you what, I've been thinking of. It's 2025. Nice projectors are cheap. Figuring out a multi-screen projector setup with a high enough quality could be cool and versatile. Oh man. Wait, to day trading with projectors? So, oh my gosh, let me show you something that I actually really kind of want. What is this? What is the name of Linus Tech Tips like unboxing channel? Oh, it's Short Circuit. That's what it is. Short Circuit. There. What is the Huawei Mate XT Ultimate? Anyways. Samsung Viewfinity SA, huh? This right here. This thing. It's a nebula. It's a Soundcore nebula. So if you want like small speakers, Soundcore is kind of one of those options that really hits above its weight. And they made this thing that's like a projector and it's a projector and surround sound speaker system combined. So you got this little trolley that you cart around, and then that's the projector there, and then there's all these speakers that come out the side. You go and you put them places, and I think it's like $10,000 or something. Actually, no, I think it was more like $4,000. It wasn't cheap. Oh, come on. Maybe if I come down in here, like get to the picture quality pricing. Anyways, it's a few $1,000s, but for like a home theater setup, like you can have it downstairs, and then if yeah, it's $4,000. That's right. You want to take it outside or take it somewhere, somebody's house, you just cart it. This is perfect. My wife would love that because she always wants to do the projector thing. I'm always like, it'll look better on her TV. Have a better contrast ratio on the TV. The OLED. Come on. Mounted store. Quad monitor mounts. Okay. What is the difference? Why is this one? So first of all, it's like the same thing listed twice. They literally look the same. Looks like maybe the difference is the mounting hardware. Yeah. But what's the difference between this one and this one? Well, it comes with both of these things. It's probably something like hollow tube aluminum versus thick end steel support. Yeah, maybe. There got to be something about different. Like, that's a big difference. This is a big difference for me to be able to look at it and be like, they look almost. Oh, okay. Wait. There's a difference. Oh. Because this one doesn't have spring arms. Ew. This one kind of sucks, actually. Well, actually, maybe it doesn't, because you just have to move this up and down in order to adjust it, is what that comes down to. Versus, let's see here, what are the other ones that we had? I don't know. Doesn't seem very competitive with this, but the quality of your spring arm makes a big difference. The quality of the spring arm makes a big difference. And it's probably like the one that I got that is, I think was only like 200. But if you're getting 4 gas spring arms, then that's going to make the cost go up quick, right? Customer reviews. Oh, not that many customer reviews. Oh, I should have come back and said, oh, which one are people buying? No, nobody's buying any. Well, the people are buying the cheap one. People are buying the cheap one. Well, let's keep that one open. Close that. Keep that one open. Keep that one open. 229. 2,000. This one is an awfully good deal, to be honest with you. You can do a setup like that. Now show me the bad reviews. 1 star. That's not the wrong version of the product. Okay, that's one they're saying that the monitors were too heavy. Ah, this one made the 3x27 all flat view in front of you. That would be disappointing. Well, that makes me not want to do that one. My brain hates the lines between the screens. Used to bother me, but I like having the visual separation. Like, you know, they have some of these things like from Samsung that's like the size of 3 screens together, right? But I don't think I would like that. I like having the 3 screens and being able to individually position those. S&P is falling apart here, folks. So with this Vivo pneumatic arm one, can I tilt them in? That's kind of... I'm wondering why these guys are saying with this one that they all have to be looking at you flat. These arms on the side must not go out far enough for you to tilt these ones in, which is probably really annoying, right? So I'm kind of starting to lean against that one. I'm leaning more towards this one.
Block buy.
Block buys. So there's still buying there, but they're getting a really big liquidity hole here. Well, I don't know. I'm not seeing the low resting liquidity, but we have been here for a little bit, and a lot of volume is traded at those prices. I'm a little suspicious of these ones that don't have gas spring arms, but I'm also really I'm really suspicious of these ones that do have gas spring arms and are just insanely cheap. You know? This one sure has a lot of people have gotten it though. 2.6 thousand. Like all of the other ones are only like a few hundred reviews or stars or whatever. Okay, so here's like a similar thing. But it's 149. The big ass spring arms might be really shitty. I am kind of like, you know, I don't know if I need gas spring arms for this one. So you could go with like one of these. That's an interesting setup. Supports up to 32-inch screens. They get swivel and tilt. Oh, this one has a freestanding base. I don't know if that's what you want. Jeez, how's that one so cheap? It's like practically the same thing. That one is so cheap. 44 bucks. It's almost worth just trying it. Yeah, it looks like it's probably got enough to tilt them in a little bit. 17 arms per pound. Oh, really? Yeah, you're right. I don't really know how heavy my monitors are, though. Let's see here. Let's search Dell 27-inch monitor. Okay. Sure. Resolution panel, just technical specs. Weight. 8 pounds. No, I think you're probably okay. I don't think any of my monitors are... The monitors that I have here are more than 17 pounds. I just have a heavy one then. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm just getting 27-inch monitors. Still, it's a little suspicious, isn't it? Or ultra wides up to 44 pounds. You know, like compared to this one, for instance, it's just nicer. 250. 250 sounds more reasonable to me. I don't know. I've been watching NQ and ES Runaway too. The sell-off is not too big of a deal yet. I kind of wonder, though, if they start to sell off a little bit further, if the treasuries decide to push further or not. I'll keep that one up, but I'm really skeptical of it. Been keeping this one up, but I'm not going to spend that much on a monitor stand. I think this is this and this. Which one? Yeah. I think they're literally the same thing. Like, they're probably made in, like, the same manufacturing facility in China and everything. They are pretty close to the same thing. I wonder on these ones, these support 17.6 as well. So, yeah. It really looks to me like it's the same thing being sold by multiple sellers. There's a nice one. Dual monitor arm with a little thing to rise them up together. I wonder if there's any correlation between US bonds and European bonds. Oh, yes. They're very, very closely correlated. So with basically the whole fixed income product market overall, it's very unusual to see a situation where one instrument is going up and the other instrument is going down at the same time. You're almost always going to see that they move together. They all turn at exactly the same times, and it's really more about which one moves more. So there's spreads between all of the instruments, and some parts of the curve will move faster or further than another. But this is unusual to see like complete divergences between them. Okay, so the S&P, by the way, did bounce, and when that happened, it looks like that the Treasuries came back a little bit. So Oof. So recenter it right there. See this little pullback from the highs, even though I know it's not that much, is kind of why I was afraid of getting in between like the 18 and 21 area. I don't know. We'll see. Thinking about the monitor arms still. I think it'll probably be like 6 months before I splurge on that. I want to get the keyboard first. Oh, normal ending time today. We're like way past, aren't we? I should get going. I mean, we're okay. I'll be fine. I don't have to be there exactly at 9 o'clock anyways, but it should be. Thank you for reminding me. I totally lost track of the time. All right. Well, the move up that we had was really interesting, though. I'm really interested to find out where we are before the news on Tuesday, just to see, like, there's all these flows. How do they position themselves before that? And then, of course, the news, it will be big, but who knows how we're going to move from that. That's going to be big. You know, we've been so news starved, and then we're going to get this huge drop of news all at once. Tuesday is going to be nuts. Yeah, markets seemed calm. Yeah, oh, I mean, the volatility that we got was low. So, like, considering what the options are pricing, the move that we got in the treasuries was a really strong move. So I do wish that I traded it, but that's okay. All right, guys. I'm going to get going. I will see you tomorrow.